All right. Hello and welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today as we wrap up our exciting Spring Career Quest series. My name is Hong Win, and I'm from the Careers and Professional Development team here at WGU, and I could not be more excited for today's session. We are joined by Emily, who is the Senior Technical Recruiter at Reddit. And she's also a leading voice in the recruiting space. Emily has built a reputation not just as being a powerhouse recruiter, but also being refreshingly real. She brings humor, humanity, and transparency into the convo around job searching. And today she'll help us better understand what it really takes to break through the black hole of hiring. I followed Emily on LinkedIn for a while now, along with about 200,000 other folks. And when I had the chance to meet with her and she said yes to joining us, I was very excited. It's such an honor to have her here to share her passion and expertise with the WGU community. And I know we're in for a valuable and fun conversation. So, with that, Emily, welcome in, and I will hand things over to you.
Wow, thank you, Hong, for that introduction. I feel like I should have recorded it separately and sent it to all 9 of my siblings. We love to tease each other. We have a chat where essentially we just make fun of each other all day. So thank you all so much for your time today. I will do a quick intro that feels like me. So I'm based in the Seattle area. I am a senior technical recruiter, or as Hong said, the tech recruiter. I'm one of many awesome folks who help hire for Reddit. Anything I share today is going to be my own opinion, so it doesn't represent anything that I mention about a past employer or even current. So just a note there. What else might you want to know about me? Well, as Hong mentioned, I'm an accidental LinkedIn influencer. I'll tell you sometime about the first time that I went viral. I really am passionate about posting on LinkedIn about the ins and outs of hiring and bringing transparency to it, which is actually why I'm here today. So I will be sharing any insights that I can transparently about how hiring works, what you can do about it in these unprecedented times. My slides are a little bit cheeky and casual, hope you don't mind, but I'd love to just talk to you as a person, to other folks who may be wondering how to get unstuck or move things forward more productively in this current job market that we find ourselves in. And the last thing I'd want you to know about me is that I have been a hiring manager. I have been and still am a recruiter, so someone who's helping facilitate the hiring decisions and interviews. But I've also been a candidate several times. And if you do follow me on LinkedIn, you've probably heard me talk about also going through a layoff a few years ago. So I bring that perspective to anything that I'll be sharing today. I think that's um, one thing that's unique is I try to look at things from all the angles as I'm sharing any advice. So anyway, without further ado, um, we're going to talk about the black hole. And that's any job seeker friends that I have right now are like, why are all my applications landing in a black hole? Why does hiring feel like a black hole? Hence why I um, title it thus. So you might also be wondering, how do I get out of the black hole? Well, Hung, if we can go to the next slide. So first, a little doom and gloom. I've been called a context queen, and also the most tangential person that you'll ever meet. So I'll try to focus here and just give you quick context on the job market and maybe validate some things that you're seeing and hearing. But you might be seeing and hearing these things in a silo. And I know with job seekers, I've been talking to folks since March of 2020 almost every day. And there are just really common themes, particularly lately, about what folks are seeing and hearing and what I am experiencing as well as I'm trying to help folks. So, one is yes, AI might be coming for your job, or at least part of it. I am seeing AI being leveraged to create efficiencies. That's corporate buzz for things are getting outsourced to AI. Like, why not use an AI powered chatbot instead of having someone talk to a real person? The chatbot can talk to unlimited people at a time versus somebody who has the capacity to talk only one-on-one. And our brains are like a computer, but they're not a computer. So anyway, that's one thing to know about hiring right now and the job market. The other is The just FYI, I love again to understand what's happening in the job market. So the roles that are being hired for now and roles that'll be open soon with companies may not be what you went to school for. They may not be a role that you've ever heard of. Um, for example, I'm actually hiring for an AI software engineer, and this person's going to be doing work that we've never done before, and we've never hired for this type of role since this technology is new. So how that might pertain to you, what you might need to know is keep an eye out for different kinds of job titles, and also know that if you're not using AI at all in your industry, I would recommend rethinking that strategy and getting more comfortable with it, because I am seeing that become more and more prevalent already. And you might have to get creative in, for example, I have a degree in literary studies. What is that? I really like to read books and then talk about them. Um, that's not something that really maps to a job that's posted on a job board. So you might say, well, I went to school for business administration. The actual jobs that are being posted in the future might deviate from that somewhat. So you'll want to think about, how can I connect the dots between what I went to school for, what I have been doing, and the actual types of roles that are being hired for currently or in the future. So anyway, just keeping future state in mind. The other thing to know about the job market is it is flooded with fantastic talent from all of the name brand companies. And thanks to no thanks to unprecedented layoffs. And so if you're wondering, why am I never hearing back? The competition, frankly, is I've never seen such high quality, you might say, or highly qualified um, talent, all applying for similar roles. So that, for practical reasons, that might be one of the main reasons that you're not hearing back, is the marketplace is really crowded with very highly qualified and experienced talent. um, the another thing to know is actually just had a friend text me about this last night. Should I download this app? It'll send in mass applications for me using some kind of AI tool, and other folks are using AI tools to mass apply for jobs. That makes it harder than ever for someone like me who's in recruiting to actually pick out the real qualified applicants who took the time to submit an application themselves. Luckily, I wouldn't recommend using these tools at this point. In my experience, they're as someone seeing these applications, most of the time it's really obvious that someone's using an AI tool, if it even makes it all the way through our applicant tracking system, because there are fields that the AI often isn't able to complete for you. But anyway, having said that, it would be my personal recommendation not to use some kind of shortcut tool to try to mass apply for jobs, because on the recruiting side, when I see an application at this point, it's clearly submitted by AI. So there's my hot take there. The last thing to know is the supply and the demand in the labor market, in my opinion, is off. And I've never seen it so off. We have so many folks, for example, in software engineering, which is primarily what I'm hiring for personally, that are actually available and looking for work. Some folks with 10, 15, 20 years of experience, and the market isn't necessarily demanding that talent anymore, at least not in the ways or in the specialty areas that we might have even 1 or 2 years ago. So anyway, there's the doom and gloom, the uncomfy reality check. AI is here. It's here to stay. It's only going to be increased in its usage. The market might not be in demand for our talent, at least not like it used to be in the past. And then there is a lot of competition for the types of roles that are actually becoming more scarce. I'll end with an example. I am a technical recruiter, and a lot of technical recruiters have been laid off, including me a few years ago. And if I were to go through a layoff again, I would be entering a market that's already really crowded with folks that are maybe even more qualified than I am, making it that much more difficult to land something new. So anyway, there's the state of things. A little bit more about the black hole. Next slide. Okay, fair warning. Because I'm trying to get comfy with using AI too, and uh, my slides have AI generated images because I was in Google Slides and Gemini, Google's AI assistant, was like, "Hey, would you like me to make some pictures for your slides?" And I was like, "Okay." But they look silly. And I hope they make you laugh like they made me laugh. Anyway, having said that, I think having just reviewed the current state of things, and it's important to think about, well, what is within your control and what are some things we can focus on? So that's what I'll be talking about today. Number one is LinkedIn. So this is your home base, your showcase of your work. This is your employer brand. This is the great American piazza, the water cooler where folks go to network and also to find opportunities. There's kind of no way getting around LinkedIn, in my opinion. So we'll talk about that. Number two is you can control the content on your resume. So we'll go over that. Three is we'll also dive deeper into your applications. So quality of applications, application strategies, things like that. But that is something you can control. And then number four is using AI to help your search and your brand. And don't worry, it's not going to be anything like uh, download all these tools and learn how to vibe code or whatever the kids are doing in tech with AI. It'll be super simple. So anyway, next slide. Okay, yeah, I hope you are laughing along with me at this AI image. Uh, so let's start with LinkedIn and how to attract opportunities. And if not attract, at least your LinkedIn can sort of verify your experience. And I know for me personally, when folks apply to a job that I am hiring for, I'll often pop over to their LinkedIn profile to check that out. Sometimes there's additional context or information. It gives you an impression of the person that could be good or bad. And then you can also um, maybe I'll just leave that there. I can tell I'm already getting tangential because I get excited about these topics. So with LinkedIn, think of this as your calling card. I don't think people use this anymore. This is your professional presence and brand. This is your job seeking avatar. So people will think that they know you from your LinkedIn profile. Recruiters and hiring managers will also fact check your resume with your LinkedIn. And why is that? Well, it's much easier to get away with lying on your resume or fluffing your resume than it is your LinkedIn profile because your LinkedIn is public and people will hold you accountable. So I will do a gut check sometimes between a resume and a LinkedIn profile. And if the LinkedIn profile is very different from the resume, maybe dates that you were at a job are different, the details are different, the data on your resume is different, um, things like that. That might be a red flag to a hiring manager. So just anyway, I guess I'm belaboring the point, but just really, I'd want to set the stage for it's critical to have a LinkedIn profile. I know not everyone really wants to be hanging out on there. It is kind of like Facebook for jobs. But other than doom scrolling, I personally have been able to successfully build a personal brand on there and also attract opportunities to me, in addition to hiring folks who have seen my application, checked out my LinkedIn profile, and then actually use that as a positive signal to move me forward. So um, it's also just how many, if not most, hiring folks are actually going out and finding talent. So when I have a role that's open, no matter what kind, it's a product manager, it's an administrative assistant, it is a really technical software engineer type of role, we'll often search first on LinkedIn. So having a profile that's present and that also is built out is really critical. This is also where you can be doing networking in the virtual world. But who cares about all of this? Maybe you're like, sold, I have a LinkedIn profile, it's not doing anything for me. Okay, so I got you. This whole chat today, I hope will be really practical and that you won't leave with a bunch of fluff. So one is thinking about how to be more easily searchable. So a common mistake that I'll see folks make on their LinkedIn profile is they will use their headline and their descriptions of their previous experience, or if you're a recent grad, maybe you're describing your degree or what you learned in terms that aren't common to the industry. For example, I'm a technical recruiter, but I've worked at companies that called recruiters different things, like you're a talent hunter or you're a recruitment specialist. What does your industry call you most commonly? Have that be your job title. Even if your company, and this is advice I give a friend, even if your company called you something silly, like you, Emily, you are a unicorn hunter, I would still have my title on LinkedIn be the most common for my industry. Why is that important? Because LinkedIn has a tool called LinkedIn Recruiter that every company I've worked for has paid for. It's how they make money, other than their horrible ads that they run. That's another story. It's like they're running the same ads that they did in 2012. Ask me how I know. So anyway, they make a lot of money selling a tool called LinkedIn Recruiter to companies, and it's an advanced search tool that I can use. It's not on the homepage. There's like a link on my homepage that says Open Recruiter, and I'll open Recruiter up, and it'll have advanced search functions, and I'll go in there, and let's say I need to hire a business analyst. And so I'm going to be searching business analyst. I'm not going to be searching, um, I don't know, I may not be searching for business insight specialist or something that your company or even your school is calling it. So think about what are the most common terms that a recruiter or a hiring leader would be finding me by. Otherwise, you may not show up in my search on LinkedIn at all. And many recruiters also just use the LinkedIn homepage to search for talent as well. So make sure you're searchable. Um, I'll leave that there. Just keep it simple. The other thing is profile basics. Um, I also, despite my online avatar that accidentally amassed a following, I don't love attention, and I struggled with this too. I actually used to have a picture of me and my dog, with my dog mostly covering my face as my LinkedIn profile photo, because I just don't really like to really be out there that much working on it. We're on a journey. So I get it, and maybe you don't have a profile photo currently, or it's farther away, or you have sunglasses, or you took it in the car because you were feeling cute. But people are still making the people hiring decisions, and there is bias in hiring. And I would recommend having a closer up, full color profile photo on your LinkedIn profile, and maybe not have it in the car. There are a lot of car selfies out there. I'd also recommend not using an AI generated profile photo. Um, in my opinion, even with the proliferation of AI, people still want to hire people, and the AI generated photos look silly and they still look like AI. So, um, making sure that you look like someone that someone else might want to approach in a parking lot. I don't feel like people should have to smile, but honestly, for your LinkedIn profile photo, I would recommend having at least a friendly or pleasant looking face, because again, people are making people hiring decisions. So have an approachable looking profile. Another thing is, um, there's there's a joke that I've made. I actually, if you do follow me on LinkedIn, I'll often do office hours on Fridays for job seekers free over Zoom just for fun. So I'll repeat the joke here. Where is a good place to hide a dead body? And it's in your LinkedIn About Me section. It is something that gets cut off. Keeping your descriptions of yourself, your headline, concise. Most people aren't going to read, like, click on the see more and scroll way down and read about your hobbies and your hopes and dreams. Keeping all of that really concise, because you may only have a few seconds as someone in hiring is scrolling through your profile to actually make the point. So there's that. Okay, green banner. Yes or no? I know I'm talking quickly, but I also feel like I have a lot to cover and things that I really want to share with you. So green banner, if you know, you know. If you've been on LinkedIn, you may have seen the open to work banner that people can put on their profile photo. And there's a lot of debate, and I'm in recruiter chats, on other sites and on LinkedIn as well, where we talk about the green banner gang and does it work, doesn't it work? I can tell you this. Knowing that there's bias in hiring, and knowing that people are making people hiring decisions, fair or not, there are still hiring managers out there with a bias against talent that's available and may have gone through a layoff or is looking for something new or recently graduated. That's not fair. I don't like it. It should not be the case. I'm not saying that pertains to my current employers or anything like that, but I'm in these chats, I hear the discussions, and regardless of whether or not the green banner should be a deterrent, I'm here to say you should test it out for yourself. If you are getting more messages back from folks, more traction on your application, more, I don't know, just more activity on LinkedIn with the green banner, great. I don't know your industry. I don't know your search. Oh, well, that was a fun. Hello. It's the 4th of July. Okay, that was weird, unsettling. Okay, back to you. Um, I think you should A/B test it for yourself. I could never tell someone, never use the green banner, always use the green banner. I just hired somebody who had an open to work banner. However, this person was a highly qualified, skilled in a niche skill set software engineer with over 15 years of experience in our industry. And so this is talent who is getting reached out to by recruiters and is in a lot of demand. I make actually in my office hours on Fridays, I'll also make analogies about dating and job searching. So I'm sorry if you've already heard these analogies from me. But it's like if you get on Hinge, people ask you, "Hey, how come you're still single? Why are you still available?" And that bias can also translate to LinkedIn with the green banner. If you're so great, why haven't you been snatched up yet? Doesn't anyone else want to hire you? And again, I'm not saying this is right or fair, and I think you should test it out for yourself. Give yourself a couple weeks with the green banner. Give yourself a couple weeks without it. You can still be job seeking and you don't have to necessarily signal it. And for some folks, like the person that I hired recently, it worked great. I was like, oh my gosh, yay, open to work. This is amazing. He already had multiple offers though. So anyway, I'll just leave that for you to think about and to test out for yourself. I would never say definitely yes, definitely no. It depends on your own situation, and I think you should make that call for you, but just keeping in mind that there could be some bias against it. Another thing with LinkedIn is a lot of folks only get on LinkedIn once they need something, and it's usually a job. So I will see this pretty frequently. The first post that I'll hear from a connection or from a former colleague is, "Hey everyone, I'm open to new opportunities. I'm looking for this and that. Please help me out. If you know of anything, blah, blah, blah." And that shouldn't be the first time that folks are hearing from you. One, I'm like, what? Sally? I don't even remember where we used to work together. Like, I remember the name, but So one, I have no like relationship really with this person. I'm also seeing, hey, you're only showing up when you need something. That doesn't feel great. We haven't interacted. I don't see you in the feed adding any value. You're only posting to ask people for help. When I got laid off, I had been, and I don't mean this as virtue signaling. I'm just going to tell you what worked really well for me, and then we can talk about all my mistakes and failures another time. But what worked really well for me is because I'd been consistently sharing insights about hiring, doing the office hours, posting interview tips, like at least every week, if not every day, since March of 2020. Then when I got laid off in May of 2022, people had seen that I was out there providing value. And when it was my turn to ask for help, I got a ton of referrals, leads on jobs, emotional support, former colleagues reaching out with, like, hey, I can't help you, but let's go do lunch. It's on me. So I've really seen the value of being a giver and not just a taker. And there's real magic on LinkedIn when you're there to provide value and not just post about how you need help and are looking for a job. If you're wondering, like, I don't know what to say, or especially if you're looking for a role, I don't want to assume everybody's in the same position, but if you're actively looking, I mean, you're here looking to avoid the black hole. If you want to be hearing back from folks and really have establishing a presence on LinkedIn, this will be my first mention of a few of ChatGPT. You can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm a new grad business analyst and I want to post content on LinkedIn. I'm passionate about X, Y, and Z. Help me come up with some ideas. And it will. And they might be sort of AI sounding, like everyone I think now knows like that tone that ChatGPT and AIs tends to have, but it'll give you a good start. Another thing that I've done when I'm like, I haven't posted on LinkedIn in a few weeks, I probably should, is I will Google LinkedIn posting prompts, and people have them like sheets made on Etsy and Pinterest that you can look at for free just to get some ideas going. So if you're not sure what to say and how to post on LinkedIn, the internet is your friend. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. Lastly, is I always think, how can I help people? I have six sisters. I'm the oldest, and so I think about my younger sisters. And a lot of my posts in my mind, that's who I'm posting for. Actually, one of my sisters just went through a layoff, so it like really hits home where I think, who could I help, and who might I want to reach today with a message? And for you, you're maybe not a recruiter, so you have a different perspective. Maybe you've learned something from a job search, or you're learning something from your job search, or you've learned things in your field that you could share with folks. So anyway, LinkedIn, I'll end with this. This is what people think that they know about you. And so you really can develop a brand on LinkedIn and start to generate this virtual network. It's sort of spooky. People do think that they know me. And I think that's good. So make sure that you're driving that narrative. I had a boss who used to say, steer the ship or someone else will. I'd rather be in charge of my voice online. This is your digital footprint. And I think about my grandma. I love her, but we can't be Facebook friends anymore because all she posts is really negative stuff. And I think about if someone were to look at my grandma's Facebook feed, it would be all um hope she never sees this. It would be mostly not great type of content. And so I think, oh, if someone looked at my digital footprint and my impression on LinkedIn, it would uh, hopefully be someone who's giving, positive, authentic, and I'm thinking about what are things I want to be known for, and then posting with that in mind. So anyway, okay, that's a lot about LinkedIn. Just make sure you have a filled out profile and that you are adding value. Keep it concise and sound like yourself. That would be that. Okay, Hong, do you mind going to the next slide? Yay. Okay, another how about this photo, this resume? It's taking off. Um so as much as this is about an out of this world resume, actually an out of this world resume is going to be the simplest and not the most overly fiddled with and architected. I actually get dozens of DMs every week from people who have worked with career coaches, resume writers, and I'm going to keep bringing out my air quotes here because a lot of these folks are preying on job seekers, in my opinion. Not all of them, but many of them. And now my DMs are full of their customers who worked with a professional on their resume, and it's overly complicated and fiddled with and fancy, and it's still not getting them the bites that they needed. And so I've been working with folks one on one when I can, mostly my friends because I do have limited time outside of my day job. But the easiest thing that you can do is, or not the easiest, the most impactful thing that you can do with your resume is write it yourself. And anyway, so we'll get into, well, how do I do that? And I'll bring up ChatGPT again. But first, some basics. Regardless of industry, in my opinion, your resume needs data. Data? What is that? And I worked for a nonprofit company for 9 years where we didn't measure anything and we didn't use any data in hiring. We just all did our best, and that's totally fine. Um, what does that mean though? On my resume, I need something quantifiable to say or prove that I'm awesome. Otherwise, it's just me talking about myself. Hey, I'm a really good recruiter and I did some good work. Okay, that's nice. Who's going to believe you? Your resume does need some kind of evidence. Otherwise it's just you vouching for yourself and describing your experience. If you're in a role or even have been in school and you're like, okay, well, I don't have any evidence, what I would tell a friend is estimate. As long as you can back it up with a story in an interview, make sure that your resume does have some evidence, which is data. So for me, that might be I exceeded my hiring goals by 20% quarter over quarter, or that kind of thing. But regardless of your industry, if your resume is all words, then to a hiring manager, not just a recruiter, they might go, oh, okay, so they're just describing themselves as awesome and hardworking, but is that quantifiable and is that provable? Um, okay, talking about what to leave on, what to take off. All right, well, let's get into it. So one, resume, can't talk about resume without its evil twin, the cover letter. Um, I cannot believe in the year of our Lord 2025, there are still companies that require a cover letter. I would say keep it so simple. Maybe plug into ChatGPT really quickly, like, I'm a data analyst applying to a role at Cruise. I want to showcase my project management skills. Here's my resume. And then ChatGPT will probably spit out something that's too long and sounds like ChatGPT. And then you'll say, condense this into one short paragraph. And then it will. And if anything, that's your cover letter. Don't over architect it, because here's what I'll tell you. A little secret inside of hiring. I have never seen a hiring decision based on a cover letter. Ever. Imagine if it's like, well, this doctor is pretty great, wonderful for the hospital, but the cover letter just really didn't capture their spirit. The resume is the evidence. The cover letter is just sometimes used as a gauge of like, uh, how well does this person communicate? How do they describe themselves? If you can skip a cover letter and just have a concise summary at the top of your resume, I said concise. So, as far as what to leave on, what to take off, a summary is really optional. And the reason why I would be talking like this is because pretty much all of my friends who are out there applying, when they'll send me their resume, their summary is way too long. I'm telling you, hiring leaders who are busy, they have a day job and then they're also trying to fill a role in their team, they're not reading all of these things, fun facts. This is, all the things. Keep it really concise. An effective summary often is just bullet points. Use that real estate on your resume to describe, or like I should say, use that real estate on your resume to connect the dots if you need to, especially if you are a new grad trying to explain quickly what you're looking for. Because if you have a computer science degree, yes, and that doesn't necessarily tell me exactly what kind of job titles you'd be looking for, or if you have any prior industry experience, or if you're pivoting from one industry to another, as some of you folks might be, which is probably why you went to school or went back to school. So if you're pivoting from, oh, I was a project manager and then I just went back to school for, I don't know, business administration. Okay, cool. Maybe have a quick line about project manager turned recent business administrator with strong skills in blah, blah, blah. I also would say don't put on your resume your home address. It's weird, it's creepy, and it's like no one's sending you letters there. We wish that would be nice. Wait, maybe? I don't know. A lot of mail as an adult is scary. But anyway, I was thinking more like my other grandma sending me money in the mail is always super nice on my birthday. But other than that, it does look weird to have your, P.O. box, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that, but what you should leave on is your general location and where you're open to working in at. Help me end the sentence, not in a preposition. So meaning I live in the Seattle area. On my resume, I might be open to working anywhere within the Seattle area or remote or relocating to Texas where I have some friends. So I would have my resume say, Emily Mucken, Seattle, Washington, in parentheses, open to remote or in-person roles within Seattle, Austin, Texas, or anywhere in the state of Virginia. I don't know, whatever it is for you, keep it short, keep it simple. The reason why is a lot of roles are going back to being hybrid or in person. And I know from my experience in hiring, if someone applies, like I just had someone from Colorado apply to a role that I have open, and it's only open to applicants located in San Francisco who can work at our office there 4 days a week. Okay, I have 99 other qualified folks to talk to today, and you aren't located in San Francisco. Maybe you have friends there and you could easily relocate. So anyway, you might want to include that on your resume so you're not automatically disqualified based on location if you are open to relocate. Conversely, if you are only open to remote work or to a certain location, maybe just call that out briefly. All right. We already talked about this, so we'll kind of blaze through for sake of time. Could a recruiter searching for someone who does what you do find you, especially in the age of AI enhanced recruiting tools? So just make sure that you have the terms that someone might be looking for you um, with. Anyway, that was a funky sentence. I'll move on from there too. Um, oh yeah, I see Isaac's comment in the chat. VFX artist, animator, pivoting to finance in Los Angeles area, open to relocating in Phoenix area or remote. That would be great to have at the top of your resume, just to proactively answer any questions or concerns that someone in hiring. Um, anyway, I'll leave that there, but Isaac, gold star, that's a great way to summarize where you are, what you're doing, and all that. Okay, and then last couple things. I highly recommend putting your resume into ChatGPT. I know it seems scary, but you just gotta bite the bullet, I think. Like all this data is already out there, in my opinion. Um, what I did personally recently, because I'm out here being like, oh, update your resume. Meanwhile, mine is not updated, and you gotta get ready or stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You never know what's going to happen in this market. So got on ChatGPT, uploaded my resume, and I told ChatGPT, here's what I've been doing. This is what I want to be doing next. Help me revise my resume so that it's more concise and impactful, because I also know that it's too wordy. And it came up with some great suggestions. However, it still sounded a little bit bot-like. So if you're using ChatGPT to help you reformat your resume, it can check for typos. You should definitely do that. Just make sure that you reword it to sound like you. So pick through, and any words where you're like, I would never say this in real life, or this is weird. Yeah, reword that and kind of fine tune it. Last thing I'll say here is leave the stuffing for Thanksgiving. No keyword buzzword fluff, please, from a recruiter. Because hiring leaders will look at resumes that have, sometimes folks will like try to hide keywords to beat the ATS, which is a story for another day. And a bunch of buzzwords like strategic, uh, operational, efficient, something, something, something. Okay, great. That's just a bunch of adjectives. It actually can lose trust from a hiring leader. If you're coming out of the gate like, okay, I'm going to do it again, think about if someone makes a dating app profile and someone in your profile, you're describing yourself as all these amazing things. At some point, it's like, okay, are you even realistic about yourself? This is a lot of good about you, and would highly just recommend not trying to circumvent the hiring process, be sneaky, hide keywords. It Here's the thing, because you might know about the white font trick. If not, go ahead and Google it. But sometimes folks will, and it's kind of rare, but it does happen. You might see this advice to hide keywords in white font at the bottom of your resume so that if a recruiter is searching for those terms, your resume will be pulled up. But if those terms belong on your resume, and if you really have that experience, it should be in black font. Like, why would you need to hide it? So anyway, I'm seeing ultimately you'll get rejected. Even if your resume did come up initially, it'll come out in the wash with the interviews. So just keeping your resume simple with pertinent data, the experience you have, terms that someone looking for you might search by, and then leave it there. Okay, Hong, that was a lot of me talking. Do you mind going to the next slide? Cool. Okay, the real black hole, if you know, you know. Um, yeah, sorry, I just want to say with Ron's comment, no one's searching for a I'm not on LinkedIn. I'd like to find someone who's leveraged synergistic processes. No, I'm like, I need to hire an analyst. Like that's what I'm searching by. I'm not looking by adjectives. Anyway, okay, back to the real black hole. And here's what you can be doing. Because again, if you know, you know, and you've been out there applying, my friends who are looking right now are like, I do not understand what is happening. I've applied for 10 jobs, which I say, oh, honey, only 10, but we'll get there in a second. And maybe never hearing back from any of them or just getting automated rejections. It's so sucky, and I'm sorry. So here are some things that are working not only for folks that I've worked with, but my friends who have rebounded quickly. So for the success stories, I look for what are common themes and how are people actually getting passed through around the black hole. So yes, I can definitely validate this is, in my opinion, just as bad, if not worse, than the last recession. I'm 41, so I graduated in 2006 from college, and what a time. I ended up working in the mall for a lot longer than I planned to. So, all right, back to you. Number one is referrals. This is the number one way that I've seen folks get prioritized as an applicant. And oftentimes companies will even have an SLA, a service level agreement with recruiting and referrals, where referrals actually get more priority and we're supposed to action on them sooner than the typical applicant. Because this is an employee who went out of their way to vouch for someone's talent and make them a referral. So you should leverage any option that you have to get a referral. And in my opinion and experience, it doesn't even have to be someone that you've worked with previously. I could even, like, I worked at Amazon previously, and I would feel completely comfortable. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. I would feel comfortable reaching out to folks on LinkedIn who work at Amazon and saying, hey, Sally, we didn't work together, but I was previously in Prime Video doing recruiting, saw this role. Any chance you'd be willing to send in a referral for me? This looks like such a great match. Or if even if you haven't worked at that company before, LinkedIn will show you like, oh, this person is a second degree connection. Just sending a quick message, use their name, make sure it's the right name. I get called the wrong name in messages. Oh, that's wow, it's a party over here. It's a referral party. I get called the wrong name on LinkedIn a lot, so I'll get like, hey Bob, and it's like, okay, bad copy and paste. So make sure you update the first name, keep it simple. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but asking folks for referrals to open roles that you find. What I would not recommend doing is reaching out to people. Most of my DMs this week are from people saying, hey Emily or Bob or whatever they're calling me that day, can you help me find a job? No. Can you help me get a job at Reddit? Probably not. Can you, I'm a principal software engineer, back-end leaning. Let me know if you find anything. Nope. I can't go out there and do the search for you. However, the folks I have helped get hired at my company even did the work. So they're like, hey, Emily, found this role on the Reddit career site, link here. Here's my resume. Any chance you could connect me with the hiring team? Or could you put in a good word for me? Or something. Keep it simple, keep it nice, but include the link to the job that that you're interested in. But don't ask someone else. In my opinion, it's not working. You're always welcome to do this. You can try it out. But asking folks to do the work for you is not only not a good impression, in my experience, it's not effective. So I also want to say any messages you're receiving about offers you didn't apply for are probably a scam. And my LinkedIn feed lately is full of, I actually posted about this, I think, last week, and people were commenting in the comments about their own experiences. And one person actually had fallen prey to it. I know when you're feeling vulnerable and maybe even desperate, that your mind starts to go like, well, maybe, but I care about you. Don't get on WhatsApp and give someone your banking information, because it's not legit. All right, so number two is to get out of the black hole. Well, you're going to have to apply for more jobs than you ever thought that you'd need to. And so that goes back to my, oh, honey, oh, my sweet summer child comment of if you have been used to applying for 5 jobs and hearing back from one, you literally might have to apply to 500. I actually polled some recruiters recently, and uh, one of the recruiters that I know, she had to apply to 700 jobs before getting all the way to an offer. Um, I feel like I just broke out in hives thinking about that. Wow, is it hot in here? I'm not saying you should just mass apply, but when a friend will say, I'm not hearing back, I've applied to 10 jobs. Yeah, that might have been the market even 3, 4 years ago. But that's not the market today. I would anticipate for me, and I'd set a goal of I need to apply to like 20 jobs a day. I don't know if it's even possible to find that many. I know it's tough, it's tedious, it's time intensive. You probably won't hear back from most of them, but you have to go higher volume in this market to get. Think about a funnel, like a sales funnel. This is very Wolf of Wall Street for a second, but just think about this. I literally am getting sweaty. I think it's the 700 applications thing that got to me. Um, so think about the funnel. Okay, I applied to 100 jobs. I heard back from 10. 5 of them were legit and good, and I want to move forward. How many of those are even going to give you an offer? Maybe one. You have to kind of know your funnel and think about how many applications you need to start there with how many are going to lead to an offer or at least an interview. So anyway, keep going and just know that it's not you, it's the market. You're going to really have to go higher volume. Number three is don't wait, apply now. That sounded very infomercial, but I'm telling you, a common mistake that job seekers will make that I personally witness is they'll say, oh, I found this awesome job. I'm going to get ready and then I'm going to apply next week. No, the applicant tracking system is like a filing cabinet, and we typically review applications in the order they're received. So if a job is posted, I'm getting, like, I just posted a role that got 800 applications in less than 2 days. And if the first 50 are qualified, I won't even see the other 750. So if you see a role, please don't wait. Apply today to get your better chance of having your application reviewed. I just, again, was talking to another friend about a role that they're interested in, and it already has 45 people interviewing for that role. And it's like, if you haven't already applied by now, you're not in the mix. So yeah, if you see it, especially if it's new, apply right away. Last thing here is it's not only okay, it's great to follow up. Me as a recruiter, and actually when I was working at Amazon, we had all these tools where we could measure when people would respond to us when I'm reaching out to folks about jobs. And I'd actually got my highest response rate from people on my fourth follow up. Now, that could be because at the time, nobody wanted to work for Amazon in the software engineering community, or very few. And so I had to really like, But what it might mean for you and what I've seen for job seekers is maybe if you're messaging hiring folks directly, you might have to follow up a second or third time. That's totally okay. It's very normal. Often the first message is like, oh, okay, yeah, this is probably a mass message. When someone follows up, it's like, oh no, they really meant to reach out to me. I'm getting an unprecedented number of DMs. And when someone actually follows up, that stands out to me. Just be nice and be brief for sake of their time. All right, maybe we'll keep moving. So next slide. Okay, AI is my frenemy because it might be coming for my job. I will quickly say that it does sort of feel like we are in the end stages of capitalism. It is the apocalypse, and at some point it may completely replace a lot of our jobs. And hence, part of the reason why I'm here is we're building community, we're taking care of each other because we navigate how the job market's getting disrupted. Ultimately, we're going to have our uh, we're going to have our relationships to help us get through these times emotionally, if not practically. But so anyway, in that case, AI might be my enemy, but in this case, it is my friend. I would recommend using tools like ChatGPT to help craft your resume, your LinkedIn profile. If you're in an industry where you have some kind of portfolio, these are my best quick tips on how to use it effectively. Number one is be bossy. And I'm saying bossy in quotes because when I talk to ChatGPT, it feels like the meanest version of myself. The most direct and concise I can be of like, let's say I copy and paste my resume into ChatGPT. I'm not going to say, I'm looking for help with my resume. I'm going to say, give me help with my resume to be more concise, to help me to pivot to a project manager role and to have more impact to a hiring manager, something like that. So anyway, using a tone or an approach that can feel bossy is great. Number two is often the first result with asking AI to do something is bad. So or I don't know, in my experience, actually, funny enough, this slide was like the eighth photo. I was like, the first photo, I was like, no, too weird, try again, try again, try again. And then finally I was like, all right, this is good enough. I guess it makes the point. But don't take the first result from ChatGPT or whatever you're using as the last result. You can say, hey, this is good, but going back to being bossy, this is good, but tweak it some more, or this is still too concise. But anyway, just keep iterating with it. Number three, as I'd mentioned, reword the results because AI still sounds like AI. It's getting better, which is creepy, but it still doesn't add in unsolicited dad and mom jokes. So we have that going for us here. Um, Make sure you reword the results to sound like you if you're having it redo your LinkedIn profile, your resume. I used when I was using ChatGPT recently to be like, hey, I should probably refresh my own resume. I mean, if nothing else, it's just good to have that on hand for professional networking. Um, and as I was working on it, it then made recommendations to me too of like, if you did want to pivot into this other industry, I can make you a version for that too. So anyway, but I needed to do a lot of rewording. It's a great place to get started though. But along those lines, ask a human to review the results, not your mom, not your best friend. Find someone not as close to your situation as possible. I do have a really honest friend named Stacy. Maybe she'll catch this replay and know how much I love her. She is very honest. She's the one who will be like, no, that color looks terrible on you. And she's right. If you have a Stacy, amazing. I know it's you're already out there and feeling vulnerable if you're looking for a job and it doesn't feel great to be criticized, but you want a human to review your LinkedIn profile and your resume who's not so close to your situation, actually doesn't know you, because that's a hiring leader, that's a recruiter. They don't know you. And they don't know your situation. And so you want to know, how do I appear to an outside audience? And does this still sound impactful? I see these questions in here, and I would love um, to get to those. Maybe Hong, if we can go to the last slide, and then
Yeah.
I have a hard stop at the hour, but um, we'll get through what we can. I did want to add there are a few other tools at your disposal, maybe not the right word, but these are qualities I see among folks who rebound or get the next opportunity successfully. One is persistence. So there's news articles about this right now, friends, where it's taking folks longer than ever to find something new. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying, hey, don't quit after 3 months. Don't quit after 6 months. If you're still looking, don't quit. Because I am seeing folks finally land something that's awesome, but it is taking folks longer. So persist in your search. Two, being really consistent. So it's so great. You posted your first thing on LinkedIn, or you sent your first networking message or something like that. It's the repeated actions that you take, showing up consistently in the community on LinkedIn, or practicing for interviews. the consistency, keep going, taking recurring actions, which is really the secret sauce. And then three is attitude. So, hey, we talked about bias in hiring. People hire people they want to spend more time with. And people also have a sense, but this is feedback I've gotten from my LinkedIn of like, Emily, you seem fun. You're someone that like I've gotten opportunities based on my attitude. Because again, I put positivity out there, even on the days when I really don't feel like it. And then again, people have an impression of me, and then they're like, hey, would you like to speak at our chat? Sure. So, trying to keep a good attitude, even if you have to fake it. Sometimes folks will come and interview with us, and they're really having a hard time because of the job market. I can understand, I can really validate that, but it comes across in interviews as someone that we may not want to spend more time with. Same with LinkedIn. If you're going on there to talk about how terrible the job market is and how unfair it is, you may be right. However, you're giving an impression of, oh, what would this person be like to spend time with? How would they represent our company? What's the work ethic that they bring to the role? And it's not great. So, again, we're not here to talk about what's fair or what's right. This is just more about what is. So, all right, moving on here. I just want to talk quickly about, I see we're talking about um, LinkedIn and I want to answer, I want to help everybody here. I see the comments on high volume. Actually, Anthony, thank you for asking about how many folks are actually applicable or relevant to the role so I can answer this quickly. In most of the roles I'm hiring for, less than 3%. So when TikTok tells you like shoot your shot, maybe they'll give you a chance. Now, probably not, because one, we have these requirements set up for a reason. Two is if the market's flooded with talent that is qualified, why would we proceed or give a chance to someone who isn't qualified? So we're focusing on maybe, I'm just giving you an average based on a couple recent searches I've done. I'd be focusing my time on that 3% that's actually qualified. Oh no, that's my alarm to say, Emily, get to your next meeting. So I'm sorry that we're running out of time here. But yeah, Hong, any last words or questions for me?
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Emily, so much for your time. We'll make sure to follow up, and if you do have questions, we'll send out the recording along with some resources. But Emily, thank you so much. I don't want to keep and hold you, but we'll go ahead and wrap up today's session and just express our big WGU thank you for your time and your insight today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Good luck to everybody out
Yes.
there.
Yep. Take care. Awesome. Let me go ahead and end today's recording.